Welcome back to the N.A.R. Comic News Network, where we dive into the quirkiest headlines in faith with a splash of satire. Today's story brings us the latest from the United Pentecostal Coalition, where it seems the journey to salvation is about to get a lot chillier. After some careful consideration, the coalition has decided that warm baptismal waters have been making the conversion experience a little too comfortable. Apparently, the higher-ups felt that new converts should feel a bit more, shall we say, shocked by their first encounter with holiness. The solution? Turning off every baptismal heater north of the Mason-Dixon line. While this move might barely ruffle feathers in the south, it's sparking some shivers in the north, where church baptistries are about to be as frosty as a winter's morning. Congregants in Michigan, Minnesota, and Maine are already bracing themselves for the plunge. According to the coalition, it's all part of adding a bit more purifying intensity to the process. As one representative put it, there's nothing like the cleansing power of ice-cold water to remind you that true faith isn't about comfort, it's about commitment. But here's where the story really takes a twist. The ministers up north took one look at the icy water situation and decided they had an ingenious plan of their own. The ministers figured that if the water was cold enough to turn a baptism into a full-body freeze, it might be better for someone else to handle the duty. Enter the deacons. It seems that deacons are now the official baptismal assistants, and they're the ones getting up close and personal with the baptismal pools. According to one pastor, it builds character, and besides, those deacons are tough. They can handle it. The deacons, for their part, seem to have mixed feelings. One new deacon confessed he'd been practicing cold water immersion in his bathtub all week, hoping to get acclimated before his first baptismal Sunday. I just keep reminding myself, it's for the greater good. And for the feeling in my toes, which I hope to regain by spring, he laughed nervously. Others have taken to wearing wetsuits under their robes, though some elders are questioning if this undermines the experience. It's about sharing in the sacrifice, the elder remarked. We're not sure neoprene aligns with the spirit of holy surrender. Meanwhile, congregants are reacting with a blend of admiration and apprehension. One member joked, "I always knew they'd find a way to keep us awake during service, but I didn't think it'd be with hypothermia." Still, others insist the cold water only deepens the experience, likening it to old-fashioned revival meets polar plunge. For many converts, it's less about shivering through a spiritual rite and more about surviving it with dignity intact. So as churches across the North brace for this frosty new chapter, one thing's certain: these baptisms are sure to be unforgettable. Reporting live from the chilly front lines of conversion, this is the N.A.R. Comic News Network, reminding you that sometimes the path to salvation is just a little colder than you expected.